I actually have a shit ton of these perverted games. Some are great, most are crap. Like normal games really. I just haven't reviewed most of them here because I really can't be bothered to make videos. With that said, let's get started. I've recently finished Ark of Artemis, a pretty whatever title, and immediately after starting the game, it made me say, wait a minute, these are the side characters of the last game, Last Embryo. But I don't know, the character art seems to have gotten a downgrade. I got these two games at relatively the same time, and apparently I was lucky enough to win the 50% chance of playing the prequel before the sequel. Because really, by the titles alone, I can't fucking tell that these two games are related. In this game, we play as that band of 4 side characters. Only as the mage girl though, the others are useless after some plot convenient reason. The mage girl is much more lolly than I thought she was. Oh yeah, she also grows big breasts and bunny ears in combat. Whatever. Last week I did say that the side characters seem more interesting than the main character, but I was referring more to the design and art. Their personalities seem like they're as bland as, if not blander, than the MC. Unfortunately, I was right. Their personalities bore me, always spouting that friendship bullshit even though their relationship isn't explained with much depth. Compared to the last Embryo, this one seems to have been made with less budget. According to my playtime, this one is half as long as the previous game. Though in the previous game I did bum around reading manga while the game clock is still ticking. Some notable features from the previous game are gone as well. The pointer and map movement system? Gone. Move through caves and hallways like a normal RPG maker, you peasant. The race to the finish line turn system? Gone. Take turns with your enemies like a good girl now. I also forgot to give credit for the pencil sketch CGs in the previous game. They look pretty good, but there's none here. Look elsewhere. There's also a pissingly low variety of enemies. There are only wolves, goblins, tentacles, slimes, and angel variants. But some things did survive from the previous game. I apparently forgot to talk about this shit in the previous game, but saving and loading has a loading screen attached to it that takes 3 painfully long seconds to finish. Same as the previous game. Though things are not all bad here, I like how our party comments on conversations we just had with NPCs. Though most of the time we're alone, so more often than not it's just the protagonist mumbling to herself. Still, it shows some effort at fleshing out our characters. They're still bland though. The plot is just as pissed as the previous game, if not pissier. The world is still embroiled in a world war and our band of 4 side characters turned main characters goes to the demon continent or something. Our main character then has her ass beaten by the antagonist, who is pretty lame. The main character is then marked, which has the effect of something. I don't know, but it kills her eventually. Probably a case of cervical cancer. It also has sexual effects or something. I think it said you'll be unable to resist someone's sexual advances. Well, after that, I had an old man grope my ass and nothing seems to have changed. There's also something about getting cum will somewhat lengthen your lifespan or some shit. But I finished the game as a virgin like I usually do anyway. Afterwards, the game turns into a fetch quest into 3 dungeons, which takes up most of the game's time. It does a Dormammu I come to bargain shit at the end. And after witnessing boring ass scenes where we walk into the boss and get murdered over and over and over and over, oh sorry about that, we eventually win by the power of friendship or something. So what was the fucking point of that time loop? Anyone unironically cheering "Don't give up" and being emotionally invested in this scene probably feel pain for every ant they accidentally stepped on. Gameplay. As I've said, the game ditched much of the previous game's mechanics. It has standard RPG Maker turn-based combat and map movement, explored the usual shit towns, caves, forests. The combat took a look at the previous game, which I thought was insultingly easy and thought it was too hard. Pretty much every enemy attack feels like a wet sandpaper attempting to shave off the depleted uranium rod that is your health. Only one boss had a chance of beating me, and that's only if I didn't use items. Oh yeah, and there are traps as well. No, not those kind of traps. Booby traps. When did trap become such an obscene word? These traps are pretty obvious on the map, and getting caught will either result in you being forced to hear the monster do a rap beat or waste like 50 MP. Also, if you're overleveled enough, enemies will disintegrate when you touch the poor bastards. Doesn't work with the traps though. This allows snowballing XP and money by just running around. I got the best armor in the game after the first of the 3 dungeon things. As for the porny mechanics, there is that mark I mentioned earlier, which makes you horny in battle. I really don't know if something's supposed to happen when you get an orgasm mid-battle, because nothing really happened. Oh yeah, because you're marked with the crotch tattoo thing, you're now justified to prostitute yourself and steal all the pretty boys in the area. All 2 of them. Yes, just 2. And one of them is a Shota, you horny little scoundrel. I hesitate to call this prostitution. Prostitution implies getting paid, no? Nope, no payment here. Unless you count cum as currency. Some scenes also dip into the mystic realm of pixel animations. Just the monster scenes though, not including the booby trap scenes. The game seems to want me to partake in the futa scenes, but I ain't touching that shit. The futa meds aren't cheap either. Also, I ignored this issue in the previous game, but the devs seem to have a water sports fetish, as in urinating. But they seem a bit shy about it, since there's only 1 or 2 of them in the game. Not that I'm into that shit, but if it doesn't really add anything to the game, then it's fine to just not have that shit. Overall, the adult scenes are rather weak, though I must say, flat chest paizuris are delicious. I'll give it a better rating than the previous game, I guess. So let's revise what this fucking game has. A fucking plot, fucking gameplay, and okay-ish porn with flat tops. I did say the plot has peaked in the previous game, but I didn't expect this much of a fucking plunge. So yeah, a mage lolly that turns into a busty bunny girl, if you're interested.